Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Relationships. Let me ask you this. Have you ever wished you could say something so powerful, so unforgettable, that it leaves someone thinking about you long after the conversation ends? Well, you're not alone. Every day, countless people wonder how to create deeper, more meaningful connections. But here's the truth. It's not about saying more. It's about saying the right things. And today, we're diving into exactly that. Think about this. How many relationships, connections, or even fleeting interactions have been lost because of words spoken in haste? Or worse, silence in the moments that mattered. The ability to communicate effectively isn't just a skill. It's an art. It's what separates those who blend into the background from those who leave a lasting impression. And what if I told you that mastering just a few simple phrases could change everything? In this video, we'll explore how the principles of Stoicism, combined with a touch of modern psychology, can help you craft messages that are impossible to ignore. These aren't generic compliments or overused icebreakers. These are carefully curated, deeply impactful lines that tap into the core of human psychology. Lines that ignite curiosity, stir emotions, and build connections so effortlessly, it's almost like magic. Now, I'm not saying you need to become some sort of linguistic magician or overly polished conversationalist. That's not the goal. The beauty of what I'm about to share is that it works because it's authentic. It's about showing the real you, but in a way that resonates with the person you're speaking to. This isn't manipulation. It's about understanding how words, when used thoughtfully, can build bridges instead of walls. And here's the best part. These techniques don't just work in romantic relationships. Whether you're trying to strengthen a friendship, make a lasting impression at work, or simply improve the way you communicate with the people around you, these tips are universal. Once you learn them, you'll notice the difference in how people respond to you almost instantly. But let me be real with you. This isn't some overnight hack. It requires practice and intention. You've got to approach this with the mindset of growth and curiosity. Because the more you experiment with these techniques, the more natural they'll feel. And trust me, folks, when you see how effective they are, you'll wonder why you didn't learn this sooner. So, stick around until the end. Because we're not just talking about theory here. I'm going to break down each tip in a way that's simple, actionable, and easy to apply. You'll learn how to spark intrigue, inspire trust, and leave people wanting more. Not by trying harder, but by understanding the psychology behind every word you say. Before we dive in, if you find value in what we're sharing today, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's a small gesture, but it helps this channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you content that empowers your relationships and your personal growth. And hey, don't forget to like this video. It tells the algorithm that this is worth sharing with others who might need it. All right, are you ready to unlock the secrets of words that truly connect? Let's jump in. Number 1, ignite their curiosity. Say this to keep them hooked. All right, folks, let's dive into something most people overlook: the power of curiosity. You see, curiosity isn't just a fleeting emotion, it's a driving force. When someone's curiosity is piqued, they can't help but want to know more. They're hooked. This is exactly why sparking curiosity in your conversations can be one of the most effective tools to grab attention and keep it. Imagine this scenario. You're in the middle of a conversation, and instead of saying something predictable, you drop a line that leaves them hanging, something that's just ambiguous enough to intrigue them, but still feels meaningful. For example, instead of saying, "You wouldn't believe what happened to me today," you could say, "Something happened today that completely changed the way I see things. I can't stop thinking about it." Do you see the difference? The second phrase doesn't just share information, it invites them to lean in, to ask, "What happened? Why does this work?" Because humans are wired to seek answers. It's part of how our brains function. When there's a gap in knowledge, a question left unanswered, it creates tension, and that tension demands resolution. By carefully crafting your words to leave space for curiosity, you become the one who holds the answers they're seeking. It's subtle, but it's powerful. But here's the key. This isn't about being manipulative or playing games. It's about creating a genuine connection. When you spark curiosity, you're not only engaging their mind, but also inviting them into a deeper, more dynamic interaction. They don't just hear what you're saying, they feel compelled to stay involved because they sense there's more to uncover. Let me share another example. Instead of asking a typical question like, "How was your day?" try something unexpected. "What's one thing that surprised you today?" This shift in phrasing instantly changes the tone of the conversation. It's intriguing, it's fresh, and it prompts a response that goes beyond surface-level small talk. Now, let's talk about when and where to use this. It's especially effective in the early stages of building a connection, whether it's with someone you're getting to know romantically, professionally, or even in casual friendships. By using phrases that ignite curiosity, you position yourself as someone who's engaging and different from the rest. People remember how you make them feel, and curiosity leaves a lasting impression. But there's a fine line between intriguing and frustrating. If you're too vague, you risk coming across as disingenuous or even annoying. That's why balance is crucial. The goal is to share just enough to pique their interest without giving everything away. It's like writing the perfect opening sentence to a book. You want them to keep turning the pages, not put it down. And folks, here's a little Stoic wisdom for you. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Sparking curiosity isn't just about what you say, it's about creating space for them to respond, to engage, and to share their thoughts. It's a two-way street. And when you approach it with this mindset, the conversation becomes richer and more meaningful. So, next time you're in a conversation, experiment with this. Drop a line that invites them to ask questions, that makes them want to lean in and know more. Watch how the dynamic shifts when you're the one holding the key to their curiosity. What's a phrase you've used that sparked someone's interest? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to see how you're keeping conversations alive. Number 2, ask the question they'll never forget. Stand out instantly. All right, folks. Let's talk about something that has the power to transform any conversation. Asking the right question. Not just any question. The kind that stops someone in their tracks, gets them thinking, and makes them remember you long after the conversation ends. The right question doesn't just stand out, it stays with them. So, how do you craft a question that does all that? Let's break it down. Most conversations are built on autopilot. Think about it. How many times have you been asked, "How are you?" or "What's new?" These questions are so routine that they hardly spark any real thought. If you want to stand out, your questions need to go deeper. They need to challenge, intrigue, or even surprise the other person. For example, instead of asking someone about their weekend, try something like, "What's the best thing that's happened to you this month?" See the difference? One is predictable, the other invites reflection. Now, let's take it a step further. A truly unforgettable question doesn't just stay in the realm of small talk. It taps into emotions or aspirations. For instance, imagine you're speaking with someone about their career. Instead of asking the generic, "What do you do for work?" try this. "If you could wake up tomorrow and do anything, no limits, What would it be? That kind of question doesn't just show interest. It creates a moment of connection. It tells them you're someone who genuinely wants to understand their dreams and perspective. But there's more to it than just phrasing. Timing matters. The best questions aren't dropped randomly. They're woven into the flow of the conversation. Pay attention to what the other person is sharing and build your question around their cues. For example, if they mention a recent trip, ask them, "What's one thing you learned on that trip that surprised you?" Tailored questions like this show you're truly listening, and that alone makes you memorable. Let me share a secret. The most effective questions often make the other person pause before answering. That pause is gold. It means you've asked something that requires thought, something they don't already have a rehearsed answer for. And here's the magic. When someone spends time thinking about a question you've asked, they naturally associate that moment of introspection with you. That's how you create lasting impact. Of course, not every question needs to be profound. Sometimes playful or unexpected questions work just as well. For instance, if you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? It's lighthearted. Sure, but it still breaks away from the mundane and shows you're bringing energy into the conversation. Here's a Stoic perspective to keep in mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you ask someone a thought-provoking question, you're not just engaging with their words, you're engaging with their soul. You're creating an opportunity for them to explore ideas they might not have considered otherwise, and that's a powerful gift. Now, folks, remember this. The key to standing out isn't about being overly complex or philosophical. It's about being intentional. Think about the last time someone asked you a question that really made you pause and reflect. How did it make you feel? Inspired? Intrigued? Seen? That's the kind of experience you want to create for others. So, as you go about your next conversation, ask yourself, what can I ask that will make this moment unforgettable? Then, let your curiosity guide you. If you've ever asked or been asked a question that left an impact, share it below. This question stuck with me. Let's keep the conversation going. Number 3, confidence in words. Craft a message that turns heads all right. Folks, let's dive into one of the most magnetic qualities you can bring into a conversation: confidence. But let me be clear, confidence isn't about boasting or trying too hard to impress. True confidence is quiet, intentional, and unmistakable. It's woven into the way you speak, the words you choose, and even the pauses you take. When you master the art of confidence in your words, you don't just speak, you captivate. Think about this for a second. Have you ever been drawn to someone, not because of what they said, but how they said it? Maybe it was the tone of their voice, the certainty in their phrasing, or the way they held eye contact as they spoke. That's the kind of energy we're talking about here. Confident communication isn't loud or overpowering. It's assured and purposeful. So, how do you craft messages that exude confidence? First, let's talk about clarity. Confident people don't ramble or hedge their statements with unnecessary words like maybe or I guess. Instead, they get straight to the point. For example, instead of saying, "I think this might be a good idea," say, "This is a good idea because..." The difference is subtle but powerful. It shows you believe in what you're saying, and that belief is contagious. Next, let's consider the power of simplicity. Confident communication doesn't rely on complex language or jargon to make an impact. In fact, simplicity is often more effective. Think of some of the most memorable lines you've heard. Chances are they were short, direct, and easy to remember. For example, instead of saying, "I'm fairly confident this will work," Try saying, "This will work." When you strip away the fluff, your words carry more weight. Now, here's a tip that's often overlooked. Use pauses to your advantage. When you pause after making a statement, you give your words time to land. It shows that you're not rushing to fill the silence, which is a subtle but powerful display of confidence. For instance, if you're sharing an idea, pause for a beat afterward. Let the room absorb your words. That moment of stillness can make all the difference. But confidence isn't just about what you say, it's also about what you don't say. Confident communicators know when to hold back. They don't feel the need to explain themselves endlessly or over-justify their points. If someone asks, "Why do you think that?" a confident response might be as simple as, "Because it makes sense," rather than launching into a long-winded explanation. Less is often more. Let's not forget about tone. The way you deliver your words can either enhance or undermine your message. A calm, steady tone conveys confidence, while a rushed or overly hesitant delivery can have the opposite effect. So, slow down. Take your time and let your words reflect your self-assurance. Here's a practical example to illustrate the power of confident communication. Imagine you're meeting someone new. Instead of saying, "It's nice to meet you. I hope we get along," try saying, "It's great to meet you. I'm looking forward to this." See the difference? The second phrase doesn't just express interest. It exudes certainty and positivity. And folks, let me remind you of this. Confidence in your words starts with confidence in yourself. When you believe in what you're saying, it shows. People are drawn to those who speak with conviction because it signals competence and self-assurance. It tells them, this is someone who knows their worth. So, as you craft your next message, remember this: speak clearly, speak simply, and let your words reflect the confidence you carry within. You don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to believe in what you're saying. Let's affirm it together in the comments below. I speak with confidence. Because the way you speak shapes the way the world listens. Number 4, tease the future. Keep them eagerly. Waiting for more all right, folks. Let's dive into one of the most powerful tools in communication, teasing the future. It's about leaving just enough unsaid to spark anticipation and keep them coming back for more. Think of it like a movie trailer that gives you glimpses of the action without revealing the full story. You're intrigued, excited, and can't wait to see what happens next. That's the effect you want to create when you speak or interact with someone. Here's the thing. Humans are naturally curious. When there's a gap in their understanding, they feel compelled to fill it. This is why teasing the future is so effective. It taps into that curiosity and leaves them wondering, what happens next? It's not about withholding information to frustrate them. It's about creating a sense of mystery that draws them closer. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone, and instead of laying everything out immediately, you say something like, "I have this amazing idea that I think you'll love, but let me get your thoughts on this first." That one sentence doesn't just share your excitement. It invites them to lean in, to stay engaged, because they want to know more. You've planted a seed of anticipation, and now they're invested in the outcome. But teasing the future isn't just about words. It's about timing. When you deliver your message matters just as much as how you say it. For example, if you're sharing a story, pause at the pivotal moment. Let the tension build before revealing the next part. That moment of suspense makes the payoff even more satisfying. Now, let's talk about tone. Teasing the future works best when delivered with enthusiasm and subtlety. It's not about being overly dramatic. It's about showing genuine excitement for what's to come. Your tone should say, "You're going to love this," without spelling out exactly why. That subtle confidence draws people in and keeps them intrigued. Another way to apply this is by framing your conversations around possibilities. Instead of making definitive statements, use phrases that hint at what's ahead. For example, instead of saying, "This project is going to be a success," try, "This project has so much potential. I can't wait to see where it takes us." The second phrasing doesn't just express confidence, it creates a sense of journey, inviting others to join you in anticipating the future. This technique isn't limited to conversations. It's incredibly effective in written communication too. Think about how cliffhangers work in stories or TV shows. They leave you at the edge of your seat, eager for the next installment. You can create a similar effect by ending your messages or discussions with a teaser. For instance, "I have one more idea to share, but let's save that for next time." That simple sentence leaves them eager to reconnect with you. Here's a Stoic perspective to consider. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By teasing the future, you're not just creating anticipation, you're guiding their thoughts in a positive direction. You're giving them something to look forward to, something that sparks joy and excitement. But here's the key. Teasing the future works best when paired with follow-through. If you create anticipation but fail to deliver, you risk losing trust. So, always make sure that what you're teasing is worth the wait. Whether it's a story, an idea, or a plan, the payoff should match the build-up. So, folks, the next time you're in a conversation, try leaving a little mystery. Instead of giving everything away, hold back just enough to keep them hooked. And remember, it's not about manipulation. It's about creating a dynamic, engaging interaction that leaves them wanting more. Here's something fun. Comment below with the phrase, "I spark curiosity," to affirm your power to keep people eagerly waiting for what's next. Number 5, show you get them. Build an instant emotional bond. All right, folks, let's talk about something that can make or break any connection. Showing someone that you truly understand them. People don't just want to be heard. They want to feel seen. They want to know that someone gets what they're going through, what drives them, and what makes them tick. When you can demonstrate that you get someone, you create an emotional bond that feels almost unbreakable. Let's start with the basics. Understanding someone isn't about agreeing with everything they say or doing grand gestures to prove you care. It's about paying attention to the little things. The way they light up when they talk about something they're passionate about. The subtle hesitation in their voice when they're unsure. Those small details say more than words ever could. And noticing them is the first step to building that emotional connection. Here's the thing, you can't fake this. People are incredibly intuitive when it comes to knowing whether you're genuinely paying attention or just nodding along. If you're truly invested in the conversation, it shows. For example, instead of giving a generic response like, "That's interesting," I say something that reflects their feelings back to them. "It sounds like that means a lot to you. Tell me more about why." That one sentence doesn't just validate their experience, it invites them to open up even further. Another key to showing you get someone is empathy. But empathy isn't just saying, "I understand." It's about putting yourself in their shoes and responding in a way that reflects their reality. Imagine someone is sharing a challenge they're facing. Instead of jumping straight into solutions, say something like, "That sounds like a lot to handle. How are you managing it all?" This approach does two things. It acknowledges their struggle and gives them space to share more. Now, let's add a layer of nuance. Building an emotional bond isn't just about listening, it's also about mirroring. This doesn't mean copying their behavior, but matching their energy and communication style. If someone is sharing something personal and speaking softly, respond in a calm, measured tone. If they're excitedly recounting a funny story, don't hold back your laughter. These subtle cues show that you're in sync with them, creating a sense of connection. One of the most overlooked ways to show you get someone is to remember the details they share. If they mention something important, a hobby, a goal, or even a favorite snack, bring it up later. For instance, did you ever try that recipe you mentioned last week? I've been curious about it. These small moments of recall tell them that what they say matters to you. Let's bring in a bit of Stoic wisdom here. Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the unspoken emotions and thoughts behind them. When you approach conversations with this mindset, you naturally become more attuned to the person in front of you. But here's a pro tip, folks. Don't assume. Even if you think you know where someone is coming from, always give them the chance to express themselves fully. Instead of saying, I know exactly how you feel, try, that sounds tough. What's been the hardest part for you? This opens the door for a deeper connection and avoids making them feel like their experience is being minimized. Finally, showing you get someone isn't about being perfect or always knowing the right thing to say. It's about showing up with intention and care. It's about letting them feel that in that moment, they're your priority. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time you're in a conversation, practice really tuning in. Notice the details, mirror their energy, and reflect back what you hear. You'll be amazed at how quickly that emotional bond starts to form. If this resonates with you, comment below. I see and connect. Let's affirm the power of understanding and connection. Number 6. Compliment beyond the surface. Highlight what truly matters. All right, folks. Let's get into something that's simple but incredibly powerful. The art of a meaningful compliment. Let's be honest, most compliments barely scratch the surface. You look nice today, or I like your shirt, might feel polite, but they don't leave a lasting impression. If you want to stand out and create a real connection, your compliments need to go deeper. You need to highlight what truly matters. Here's the thing. Surface-level compliments are easy, but they're also forgettable. Why? Because they don't tell the other person anything unique about themselves. Think about how many times someone with striking eyes has heard, "You have beautiful eyes." It's a nice gesture. Sure, but it doesn't carry much weight. Now imagine saying, "You have a way of looking at people that makes them feel truly understood." That kind of compliment doesn't just acknowledge their appearance, it speaks to their essence. And that's what sticks. The secret to a meaningful compliment is paying attention. What's something they do or say that reveals their character, their values, or their passions? Maybe they always go out of their way to help others. Instead of saying, "You're so helpful," try, "The way you notice what people need before they even ask." It's something really rare and admirable. Do you see the difference? The second compliment is specific, thoughtful, and rooted in who they are. Another way to take your compliments deeper is to connect them to their efforts or achievements. People love to feel recognized for what they've worked hard on. For example, if someone shares a creative project with you, instead of just saying, "That's cool," let's go a step further. The attention to detail you put into this, it shows how much you care about creating something meaningful. That's inspiring. Compliments like these don't just make them feel good, they make them feel seen. Let's bring in a little Stoic insight here. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Dwell on the beauty of life." When you take the time to truly observe and appreciate the beauty in someone, not just in how they look, but in how they show up in the world. You're giving them a gift. You're reminding them of the impact they have, often in ways they don't even realize. Now, let's not forget balance. A meaningful compliment isn't about overdoing it or coming across as insincere. The key is to be genuine. Say what you truly feel and don't force it. If you can't think of something meaningful in the moment, it's better to hold back and wait for an authentic opportunity. So, folks, next time you're in a conversation, challenge yourself to go beyond the obvious. Compliment their kindness, their curiosity, or their resilience. Highlight the qualities that make them unique and memorable. You'll be surprised at how much this simple shift can deepen your connection with others. Here's a quick affirmation for the comments. I notice what matters. Let's spread the art of meaningful appreciation. Number 7. Trigger nostalgia. A simple trick to deepen the connection. All right, folks. Let's wrap things up with one of the most powerful tools for connection: nostalgia. Have you ever noticed how thinking about a cherished memory can instantly transport you back to a time when everything felt just right? Nostalgia isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a bridge. It connects people by reminding them of shared experiences, emotions, and moments that matter. Here's the beauty of nostalgia. It's deeply personal. When you evoke a memory for someone, you're not just talking about the past, you're tapping into their emotions. Whether it's a song that brings back teenage years, or a scent that reminds them of a favorite place. These triggers create a profound sense of familiarity and connection. And the best part? It works like magic in conversations. Let's say you're talking to someone and they mention a place they loved visiting as a child. Instead of just moving on, ask them to share more. What's your favorite memory from that place? This simple question invites them to relive those moments. And as they do, they'll associate those positive feelings with you. It's subtle, but it's incredibly effective. Another way to use nostalgia is by bringing up shared experiences. If you've known someone for a while, referencing a moment you both enjoyed can strengthen your bond instantly. For example, remember that road trip we took? I still laugh every time I think about getting lost on that back road. Not only does this remind them of good times, but it also reinforces the connection you've built together. Even if you don't share a direct memory, you can still create a sense of nostalgia by reflecting on universal experiences. Phrases like, "Doesn't this song take you back to simpler times?" Or "Remember how carefree summers felt as kids?" They tap into memories almost everyone can relate to. These comments create a sense of belonging and shared understanding, even among strangers. But here's a pro tip. Don't force it. Nostalgia works best when it flows naturally from the conversation. Pay attention to the details they share and look for opportunities to tie those to meaningful moments. It's not about digging into the past randomly. It's about finding moments that resonate and bring joy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Dwell on the beauty of life." Nostalgia lets us do exactly that. Celebrate the beauty of moments that shaped us. And when you create space for someone to relive those moments, you're giving them a gift, the chance to feel connected, not just to their past, but to you in the present. So, folks, don't underestimate the power of a shared memory or a simple question about the past. It's more than small talk. It's a doorway to deeper connection. Try it out and watch how quickly walls come down when you tap into the power of nostalgia. What's one memory that always makes you smile? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Number 8. Share value. Make every conversation worth their time. All right, folks. Let's get into something that's absolutely essential if you want to leave a lasting impression. Sharing value. Every conversation is an opportunity not just to talk, but to give. And the truth is, when people walk away from an interaction feeling like they've gained something, they'll remember you. It's not about being flashy or overloading them with information. It's about offering something meaningful. Think about it. How many conversations have you had where it felt like the other person was just waiting for their turn to speak? Those interactions leave you feeling drained or even annoyed. But then there are those rare moments where someone says something that shifts your perspective, teaches you something new, or simply makes your day better. That's the kind of energy you want to bring into your conversations. Sharing value starts with listening. You can't offer something meaningful if you don't know what the other person needs or cares about. Pay attention to their interests, challenges, or the things they're passionate about. Once you have a sense of what matters to them, you can tailor what you share to fit their world. For example, if they mention they're struggling with time management, instead of just nodding along, you might say, I tried this technique recently where I set a timer for focused work. It really helped me get more done without feeling overwhelmed. Chuck, that simple tip isn't just helpful, it shows you're engaged and thoughtful. Another way to share value is by offering encouragement or perspective. Sometimes, the most valuable thing you can give someone is the reassurance that they're on the right path or a fresh way to look at a problem. For instance, if they're doubting their abilities, you could say something like, "From what you've shared, it's clear you're incredibly dedicated. Don't underestimate how far that will take you." That kind of encouragement can be more impactful than any advice. Let's not forget the power of sharing knowledge. If you've read a book, listened to a podcast, or learned something that could benefit them, bring it up. Say something like, "This reminds me of a story I read about how focusing on small wins can build momentum. It might be worth checking out." It's you. You're not just sharing information. You're showing that you're willing to invest in their growth. But here's a key point. Sharing value doesn't mean dominating the conversation or trying to fix everything. It's about balance. You're not there to lecture or overwhelm them. You're there to contribute. Think of it like planting a seed. Your words should feel like an offering, not an obligation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you share value in your conversations, you're not just improving the interaction, you're enriching the other person's experience of life, even in a small way. And that's a gift they won't forget. So, folks, the next time you're in a conversation, ask yourself, what can I offer here? Whether it's a tip, an insight, or simply a moment of encouragement, make it count. Because when every conversation feels worthwhile, people will keep coming back for more. Here's a thought for the comments. What's one tip or idea that's changed your perspective recently? Let's keep the value flowing. Number 9, create the urge to act. A line they can't ignore. All right, folks, let's talk about something that separates a good conversation from a truly memorable one. The ability to inspire action. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you leave the other person feeling. When you can say something that sparks an immediate urge to act, you've not only captured their attention, but you've also left a lasting impact. So, how do you do it? It starts with understanding one simple truth. People are more likely to act when they feel personally invested or excited about the outcome. Your words should create a sense of urgency or intrigue, something that makes them think, "I can't let this opportunity slip by." One way to create this effect is by painting a picture of what's possible. For example, instead of saying something generic like, "You should check out this idea I have," frame it as a unique and time-sensitive opportunity. Imagine if you could solve that problem you've been struggling with in just a few minutes. Here's how. By showing them the potential payoff right away, you give them a reason to care and act quickly. Another powerful strategy is to pose a challenge. People are naturally wired to rise to challenges, especially when the stakes feel personal. For instance, you could say something like, "I bet you've never thought about it this way before. Try this and see how it changes your perspective." It's simple, direct, and it taps into their curiosity. Nobody wants to miss out on an insight or a breakthrough, especially when it feels like a personal discovery. Let's not forget the power of exclusivity. If something feels rare or limited, people are much more likely to prioritize it. For example, instead of saying, "This is a good tip for anyone," frame it as something tailored just for them. This works especially well for people in your situation. I think you'd get a lot out of it. That small shift makes them feel like they're being let in on a secret, which creates a stronger urge to take action. But here's the key. Your words should feel genuine, not manipulative. The goal isn't to pressure someone into acting. It's to inspire them to see the value in taking that next step. Authenticity always wins. And when your message comes from a place of sincerity, it resonates on a deeper level. Think about this from a Stoic perspective. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you encourage someone to act, you're helping them tap into their own power, their own ability to shape their outcomes. It's not about controlling them, it's about empowering them. Now, let's get practical. To create the urge to act, your words should be clear and actionable. Avoid vague statements like, "You might want to think about this." Instead, be specific. "Try this today, and I guarantee you'll notice the difference by tomorrow." The more concrete your suggestion, the easier it is for them to take the leap. Finally, don't underestimate the impact of a well-timed pause. After delivering your line, let it sit for a moment. That silence gives them space to absorb your words and consider their next move. It's subtle, but it's incredibly effective. So, folks, the next time you're in a conversation, think about how you can inspire action. Whether it's a challenge, a new perspective, or a clear next step, make your words count. The goal isn't just to be heard, it's to leave them feeling motivated and ready to take that next step. Here's something to reflect on in the comments. What's one thing you've been inspired to act on recently? Let's keep the momentum going. Number 10, express genuine gratitude. The secret to staying in their mind. All right, folks. Let's talk about one of the simplest yet most impactful ways to create a lasting impression. Gratitude. But here's the thing. This isn't about throwing out a quick thank you and moving on. Genuine gratitude, the kind that stays in someone's mind, goes deeper. It's about acknowledging their presence, actions, or words in a way that feels personal and heartfelt. Let's start with why gratitude is so powerful. At its core, gratitude makes people feel seen and appreciated. It's not just about saying you value them, it's about showing it. Think about the last time someone thanked you in a meaningful way. Didn't it leave a warm feeling? Maybe it even strengthened your connection with that person. That's the kind of impact you're aiming for when you express genuine gratitude. The key here is specificity. Generic gratitude, like "thanks for being great," might be polite, but it doesn't leave much of an impression. Instead, focus on the details. For example, if someone offered you advice, don't just say, "Thanks for your help." Instead, say, "Your perspective on this issue helped me see things in a new way, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that." By highlighting exactly what they did and how it impacted you, you make your gratitude feel genuine and memorable. Another way to deepen your expression of gratitude is to connect it to their character. Let's say a friend went out of their way to support you. Instead of just thanking them for the act, acknowledge what it says about who they are. Your kindness and reliability means so much to me. It's rare to find someone who shows up the way you do. Well, this type of gratitude doesn't just thank them, it celebrates them. Now, let's bring this back to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude isn't just something you express to others, it's a mindset. When you approach life with gratitude, it naturally shines through in your interactions, making them richer and more meaningful. Here's another tip. Express your gratitude in unexpected ways. A heartfelt message out of the blue can be incredibly impactful. Imagine receiving a text that says, "I just wanted to say I've been thinking about how much I appreciate your support. It really means the world to me." These small gestures take very little time, but can leave a lasting mark. But folks, let's be real. Gratitude only works when it's sincere. People can tell when you're saying thank you out of habit versus when you truly mean it. So, don't rush through it. Take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for and why. When you come from a place of authenticity, your words carry much more weight. Finally, don't underestimate the ripple effect of gratitude. When you express it, you're not just strengthening your bond with that person, you're also setting an example. Gratitude is contagious, and your genuine appreciation can inspire others to pay it forward. So, as you go about your day, think about the people who've made an impact on your life. Take the time to thank them, not just with words, but with the kind of heartfelt acknowledgement that stays with them long after the conversation ends. Let's put this into action. In the comments, share one thing you're grateful for today. I appreciate. Let's create a ripple effect of gratitude right here, right now. And there you have it, folks. Practical insights to help you navigate human psychology and strengthen your connections. Remember, the power to influence and inspire lies in how you communicate, and every conversation is an opportunity to grow closer to the people who matter. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community for more Stoic wisdom and relationship strategies. And hey, share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep building the connections that make life truly meaningful. See you in the next video.